a notorious swinger who cheated, manipulated, and abused. Unbelievably, that's how his own lawyers describe music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, a billionaire now facing serious sex trafficking charges in a New York courtroom. His legal team's strategy? Paint him as morally repugnant but not criminal. A deeply flawed man, yes, but not guilty of the horrifying crimes alleged. As Nine's Christina Hearn reports, it's a bold and risky defense. But given the damning evidence stacking up against him, it may be the only card they have left to play. A billion-dollar empire, sprawling mansions, a private jet, all meaningless now. For the past 8 months, Diddy has traded luxury for a jail cell, awaiting trial on explosive charges of sex trafficking. This is about consensual relationships, insists his defense. But now it's up to the court to decide whether that's true, or if the hip-hop titan's days as a free man are over for good. The allegations are not just disturbing, they're harrowing. Accusations of domestic violence, rape, blackmail. Behind closed doors, prosecutors say, Diddy coerced women into sex and manipulated them into his dark, swinger lifestyle. And that's only scratching the surface. One shocking claim alleges he once forced a male escort to urinate into the mouth of ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. For those who once worked in Diddy's inner circle, these revelations are chilling, but not surprising. Reporter asks, "Are you shocked by what's coming out in court?" Former insider, "No, I'm not. I lived it. I saw the violence." Tonight, for the first time, those once silenced are finding their voices. Former employee, "The things I experienced, they were monstrous. That life nearly destroyed me. And they're not alone. Hundreds more accusers are lining up to file their own lawsuits." Legal expert, "This case is staggering. What's alarming isn't just the number of victims, it's how long he got away with it, and how many powerful people look the other way." Phil Pines was one of those people, once. As Diddy's senior personal assistant for 2 years, he had a front-row seat to the empire and the depravity behind it. Trusted with secrets, Phil thought the role would launch his music career. Phil said, "I was thrilled. This man is one of the most powerful names in entertainment. It felt like a dream." As executive assistant, Phil's job was all-consuming. Around-the-clock support for a man who demanded total loyalty. Phil said, "Staffing meant 24/7. Unless he was sleeping, I had to be on call." Initially, he was starstruck. He helped throw lavish, celebrity-filled parties, including Diddy's multi-million-dollar 50th birthday bash in Los Angeles. Phil said, "They built a massive structure in his backyard. It was jaw-dropping. I thought, wow, I'm really part of this world." But the glitz faded fast. The job quickly took a dark turn. Phil wasn't just organizing parties, he was also instructed to procure and transport drugs. Phil said, "We had a constant checklist. Weed, mushrooms. We called it the Diddy Pack. It was always on us." And then there were the infamous sex parties, internally dubbed Wild King Nights. Phil said, "He and his guests would meet in hotel rooms or his bedroom. I wasn't inside, but I prepared everything. Baby oil, lube, candles, liquor, drugs. I knew what was happening." Even more disturbing, Phil's duties included scrubbing incriminating videos from Diddy's devices. Phil said, "I thought he was just a sharp businessman. I didn't know he had this other side, this compulsive, dangerous addiction. It wasn't occasional. It was constant, every hour of every day." Phil was also forced to clean up after the debauchery, no matter how revolting the aftermath. Phil said, "The rooms were wrecked. Lube everywhere. Half-used bottles, oil stains. I wore gloves and a mask just to deal with it." Reporter asked, "What would have happened if you refused?" Phil said, "I'd be out, fired, blacklisted. He knew everyone in the industry. If you crossed him, you were done." That unspoken threat loomed over everyone in Diddy's orbit. His explosive temper kept his staff in constant fear. It wasn't until surveillance footage surfaced, showing him assaulting Cassie Ventura in Los Angeles hotel, that the public began to grasp what insiders had long endured. Phil recalls another incident in Florida that still haunts him. Phil said, "He shoved her, barked at her to take off his hoodie. When she did, he kicked her, twice. I saw his eyes black. She was topless, completely exposed. It was terrifying. As more survivors come forward, more stories emerge. One of them is Sarah Rivers, who met Diddy during an MTV reality show in the early 2000s. She had big dreams. Dreams Diddy shattered. Sarah said, "Signing with his label felt like winning the lottery. I was finally living my dream." But the reality was horrifying. Diddy, she says, was a cruel, egomaniacal bully. Sarah said, "He told one of my bandmates, 'You make me so mad I want to eat your flesh.' He told another, 'I could get a crackhead to slap you for $20. Reporter asked, "Why didn't you speak out?" Sarah said, "Because if he could say stuff like that, what else was he capable of?" And then came the moment that changed everything for Sarah, the one she's only now ready to share. Sarah said, "I never wanted to be alone with him. That's the truth." Reporter, "Why not?" Sarah, "Because of what he did."